morning. This is David Dutton in the Stormwatch Atlanta Command Center, Stormwatch America. It is 4:21 on your Sunday morning. We have a tornado warning that is in effect right now for Coweta, Heard, and Troup counties. Currently, we have a possible tornado near Hogansville. Let's zoom in on this. Here you see it's radar indicated, and it's just to the west of Hogansville right now. And this tornado warning continues until 4:45. It is moving to the east at 60 miles per hour. And you can see clearly some rotation right here near Hogansville. And it's moving off to the east very quickly at 65 miles per hour. Right over or just near Hogansville. So if you live in Hogansville, basement, center part of your house, if you're awake and you think someone else may not be, you need to wake them up, call them, give them a call, wake them up and let them know that there's a good chance of tornado touchdowns in the Hogansville area here over the next several minutes. We're going to switch live now to WSB TV in Atlanta for continuing coverage.
Now, moving into Louise now, Luthersville in 6 minutes, Midway 10, updated timeline into Greenville now 17 minutes from you, Oak in 21. So just getting some reports that a lot of folks are hearing tornado sirens going off in their communities. Remember, tornado sirens shouldn't be your first line of defense. They're hard to hear when you're inside. They're designed primarily to be warning for folks that are outside. But your primary line of defense for getting the tornado warning should be here on Channel 2. We always bring those to you instantaneously, and make sure you have a secondary way to get warnings, like on your smartphone, the WSB. Download that, and if your power goes out, you can follow along live stream through the app. So that's a good backup source. Back towards Ellijay, Rome, and eastern Alabama, heavy rain, but no more severe weather threat for you. And remember, a tornado watch is in effect for till 9 a.m. This threat is for Metro Atlanta and North Georgia is going to be over far before 9 a.m. But the tornado watch extends farther to the south in Georgia, where the threat will extend a little bit longer. Here is that tornado watch area. Includes Metro Atlanta, south and east, all these counties highlighted in red. And that's of the potential for some development. So still watching that. Let's come in close here down into Troup and Meriwether County and check out the velocity and just do an update here on the tornado threat in this area from Grantville to Hoganville, moving out into Meriwether County. So let's check out velocity and storm relative velocity. Let's compare the two. There you go. So let's come in closer to this, Ebony, between Grantville and Hogansville. A good rotation there right near Trimble. So rotating thunderstorm, possible tornado development near Trimble, passing near just to the south of Grantville and moving out of northeastern Troup and in Luthersville. So heads up for you. The cloud to ground lightning, that's often something you see flare up as rotation develops and a tornado touches down. So that signature that we're seeing here with the red and green near Trimble, moving out of northeastern parts of Troup and into northwestern Meriwether County. Possible tornado in this location. Tornado warning remains in effect until 4:45. In fact, we just got a new tornado warning. Let's expand the view and get the latest on that new tornado warning. So that's for northwestern Spalding, southern Fayette, northern Meriwether, northeastern Troup, and southern until 5 a.m. That's the storm that I just pointed out. The folks at the National Weather Service seeing the same thing that we're showing you here, and they've issued that new tornado warning for that rotating thunderstorm in this area near Grantville. And it's not moving quite due east. It's a little bit east-northeast. So that's the reason for this new tornado warning. So for watching the southern half of Coweta County. That tornado that included just a sliver of the county has moved to the north a little bit more as that threat has moved northward into Sonoy and into southern parts of Fayette County. So this storm, let's erase this. Let's come in a little bit closer if we could. Let's highlight that rotation and use the storm track to really fine tune that. So this is the area we've been seeing the rotation as you look here. So let's put a storm track right here on this point and bring it here towards Sonoy. It's moving at about 60 miles an hour, headed in that direction. So heads up in Moreland, Luthersville, Turin, and Sonoy. That storm heads towards you at about 60 miles an hour. So that means although geographically you've got some space, you don't have as much time as it's moving so rapidly out towards the east-northeast. So it's headed towards Sonoy there in the next few minutes. Let me take this over for just a second, Ebony. I'm going to do one thing here. I just want to put a storm track on the leading this cell. So here's what we've got. Around Grantville, we're seeing that red and green, possible tornado in this location towards Moreland. And this is the tornado in the area. So moving to Moreland in 3 minutes, Sharpsburg and Turin in 11 minutes. That means you have 11 minutes or less to get to your safe space. Lowest level of your house, a basement if you have one, interior room away from windows. There's Sonoy in 15 minutes from you, Stars Mill in 17, Brooks in 20, Shannon 22, 24 minutes. If you live in or near these communities, you need to get to your safe place right now. I know it's early in the morning, but wake up your spouse, your husband, your wife, kids, get them to that safe place. Convenient, now's the time to do it. If you have family that live in this area that are probably sleeping, give them a call, wake them up, let them know we have a possible radar near Grantville, moving towards Moreland and Turin, Sonoy, and also watching the storm here near Noonan as it continues. Separate from this tornado warning, an update from Cherokee County. We're getting more reports of trees on structures in Cherokee County, some near Holly Springs, some near Woodstock, just a sign of the severe weather threat with this outside of the potential for tornado touchdowns like we're tracking here in extreme southern Coweta County. The entire area, as this line comes through, has the risk for damaging straight line winds. As Ebony showed us just a few minutes ago, some of those straight line winds to about 80 miles an hour. Let's come in close here again to this portion of the storm that's rotating as it's now east of Grantville, and let's look at some of the roads here and just downstream from this. So the tornadic portion of the storm has now passed Grantville. The threat is passing for you. Looks like it's going to pass between Moreland and Luthersville, heads up around the Bexton area. So we're talking here extreme southern and southeastern parts of. Seeing that rotation, there's St. Charles, there's Moreland, there's Bexton, there's Luthersville as it tracks towards the east. And this is moving towards Blackjack and Sonoy, that general direction. So the worst of the storm is passing now south of Noonan and north of Luthersville. Looks like it's going to be very near or just to the south of Moreland. If you're in Moreland and Luthersville, head to your safe place now. There's that tornadic rotation signature on the radar tracking towards the north and east. Let's also flip the mode to the correlation coefficient, and let's see if we can pick up any lofted debris signature. Maybe knock it back a couple of sweeps just to look back in time. But this is the area we're going to be watching where we saw the rotation. This is just noise ahead of that. Let's click it through there. Hold that right there. So come on. So just in the last few minutes, let me flip that over. What I'm looking at here is trying to determine whether or not we've got a lofted debris signature. Doesn't appear to be. It's pretty, but we do have a very impressive and and somewhat powerful rotation signature there just south of Moreland and east of Grantville. So the radar updates, I'm going to do another storm track here, and I'm going to give you a control of the radar. But this is moving towards the east-northeast at about 60 miles an hour. So the storm we're tracking, possible tornado touchdowns between Moreland and Luthersville now. Community in the path of the possible 7 minutes outline. Sonoy 11 minutes. Starrs Mill 13 minutes. This is important. You're if you live here or nearby. Woolsey in 20 minutes. 26. So we're 27 minutes to Hampton, Lovejoy, Bonanza. Some of these areas tornado warning, but this is a storm that with all of these racing now at about 60 miles an hour. A little bit earlier this morning, it just gives you of how quick it's moving through. So you're along the path of this thunderstorm, you want to immediately. What that means is lowest level interior room away from windows. If you have a basement, that's your first best. Ground floor, downstairs, get as low as you can in your house. Then you get away from windows and you get to an interior room. You want to put as many walls between the building as possible. This is the area in southern California. Tornado touchdown. We've been tracking that location headed towards Sonoy, southern Fayetteville, passing Fayetteville. A storm, a straight line wind. 60 miles an hour, leading to it up towards Gainesville. But the severe. I'm going to continue to focus on, but I also into the heart of the people. 50 miles an hour. Power lines from Atlanta. Approaching the airport as the view of the radar there. The thunder there. Pull that. This. Under visibility dropping near zero at times. These winds gusting over 60 miles an hour. Then we've got the threat of ponding on roads. We've got the potential for some localized flooding. Downpours move through. Just as important is the are going to fall. These come down. Vehicles, power lines can be very hard to see, especially now that it's still 4 in the morning. The dark, wind-driven rain. Stay off the roads. That's what you need to do here in the city. The eastern suburbs going downhill quickly in Stone Mountain, Decatur, Panthersville. Heads up for you in Redan and Lithonia. It's headed towards you in the next few minutes. Winds. If you're out ahead of the storm, you've got a vehicle parked outdoors and you could put it in a carport. It wouldn't be a bad idea. If the storm's on top of you, don't go out in it. Too dangerous with the threat and with the falling trees across the area. We've had starting to get more reports of down in Cherokee County where the worst, but of course there's still some rain there. Let's come back in on our tornado warning. So I just wanted to go north a little bit into the heart of the metro and give everybody an update there. But the tornado threat continues here in parts of the South Metro. It's this portion of the storm moving towards Sonoy now in southeastern parts of Coweta County. So the threat for this tornado has ended in has ended in Grantville. The tornado threat is over in it's pushed to the east, but from Fayetteville to Peachtree City to Turin to Sonoy to Brooks to Woolsey, in your safe place. Fayetteville, technically in the tornado warning, but you've got some strong, potentially damaging winds coming in from the south, from the west rather, just south of Fayetteville, southern Fayette County, including Woolsey, Brooks, and Sonoy in Coweta County, under that tornado warning now. Passing right over Turin and Sonoy. Let's go back here and storm track here in this portion of the storm between just south of Peachtree City. It's the area that some rotation, damaging winds, and possible tornado touchdowns. Been moving at about 60 miles an hour or so towards the east northeast. Give you an updated timeline. Just 2 minutes now from Sonoy. Start Brooks in 7 for you. 10 just minutes to get into your interior room windows. Sunny side minutes, hand 18. So we're starting to get in some of the time frames ahead of warning together. That tornado warning would be a situation of severe thunderstorms, damaging winds with this entire line. The extreme northeast Georgia mountains, the impact a little bit less. It's cooler, the atmosphere there, the storm's weakening as they hit that. The out of the metro area, unfortunately, that means these storms have more energy to work with. Gainesville to Atlanta, across the South Metro, approaching Griffin. Long line of damaging straight line winds, and embedded within that, we have been watching areas through with just a little bit of rotation here. And now we're tracking one storm that's rotating for that tornado warning. Hearing some reports of some trees down in Marietta, just west of Marietta, trees down on structures, and trees down in early. Let's come in of this warning that include now in Coweta, southern half of now. It's this storm starting to move out towards the west. The communities I was talking to, Linville, Noonan, for the tornado is over for you. It's near Sonoy now, moving towards Brooks and Woolsey and Henry County. You're not in the tornado warning. You are. It's a thunderstorm warning. Is the potential for tornadoes as it numerous north come through. The areas being hit this active tornado warning. As we get those reports later this morning, we'll bring those to you. So meteorologist Ebony Dion doing a storm track here along this, where some of the storms are now and the next few minutes. So start now. Shannon in 1 minute. Brooks, it's 3 minutes from you. Woolsey in 5, in 7. And then if it holds together, and we're talking Hampton out towards Sunny, that's 12 to 4 minutes. Not a tornado in these communities, but the tornado. And also 9 minutes before this storm makes it now of 45 to 55 around Atlanta and Fulton County, and a wind gust at Mercedes-Benz Stadium measured at 50 miles an hour. Straight line Mercedes-Benz 71. These First report, trees on homes, trees on power lines, outages, down trees. I expect that to spread metro and over the next hour or so. Look how around 3 o'clock this morning, we're just starting to move Georgia. So we've gone from basically the corridor, the 42. By 6 o'clock, these storms are going to be here as they race to the east and southeast. The fast motion thing on the good side is it limits the duration of the torrential downpours. That limits the flood threat. The bad news with all of this is with these 70 miles an hour, it enhances the forward motion, enhances straight line wind. So we've got the potential for some embedded tornadoes within this and some strong winds. So ago, Ebony saw a radar estimate of 86 mile an hour winds in the south. You know, reports of a 1 hour wind gust now. Mercedes at 8. So just 5 minutes ago, as the storm moved in Atlanta, the south. This is the portion of the storm that has tornado warnings. Although the tornado warning south Coweta, the threat is over for you. There's still some heavy rain. Threat and behind this line is within the leading edge in particular where we have that damaging wind and tornado threat. Watch that as it tracks towards the east. Checking out just south. This is part of Muskogee, Chattahoochee, Talbot, and Harris County. So this is, but I want to point this out because Upson County, Thomaston, your area. So if this portion of the storm that produced a tornado down near just to the north of Columbus, if that were to impact Upson County for you, but if it was, we of course will track. But I want to give you an early heads up now that that's something that we're watching that may impact suburbs of Upson County this morning. Getting reports of multiple trees down, trees on a house with possible entrapment in Coweta County, that from emergency. So unfortunate news to have to deliver that reports coming in at least now of a tree out of house, and there's at least one person, we don't have a number, but a tree on a house with possible entrapment in Coweta County. Now, the severe storms almost completely out of Coweta County. The heavy rain, the cloud to ground lightning continues. There's Coweta County. There's certainly have been multiple dozens, if not hundreds of trees down, but one in particular on a home with possible entrapment. Now from Sonoy in the extreme southeastern part of Coweta County, you're still dealing with some damaging wind potential, but this storm is primarily in Fayette County. The rotating part of the storm we've been tracking here, passing south of Fayetteville for some possible tornadoes, moving through Brook, Rio at about 5 minutes, Sunnyside in 9, Griffin in 11 as this portion of the storm tracks to the east. I mean, let's check out the velocity, see if we can pick up an update on that. You can see here's the outer limit of the tornado warning. This storm is just to move towards that outer limit. Now what we're watching here embedded within this line is a couple of areas where we've got some kind of kinks here. There's one, see that green and red there? Here's another. So we're looking at extreme southern parts of Fayette and extreme western Spalding County. We've got 3 areas that we're watching for some possible rotation. This one here looks to be most impressive, just east of 85, and that's the southern tip of Spalding County near Digby. So this is Noonan Road, There's Hollandville Road off towards Poplar Drive. Certainly some very strong winds with this. We're seeing some rotation. Now this is embedded within a much line of storms, as you can see as Ebony widens the. So these areas of rotation are certainly more subtle when they're embedded within a linear. That's what we're dealing with here. But nonetheless, we're trying to pick out these and highlight these spots. The entire area has the potential for taking down trees, 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts, that potential for everybody. So the safe thing to do is to go to your safe place, lowest level of your house, interior room, away from windows. Possibility of a tornado touchdown here, as you see when you switch over to the regular mode of the radar, the reflex, see how those little subtle features kind of get lost, but you can really highlight the widespread swath of rain, and just know right along the leading edge is where we have the strongest wind gusts, the possibility of some tornado touchdown. So this is about to outrun or run to the end of the tornado warning area. So we'll watch that to see if that rotation holds together. That warning may be extended, but if it continues its trend towards some weakening, then we perhaps go back to continuation of the severe thunderstorm warnings. Through the it's early morning now, of course, but earlier this morning between 3 and about 4 a.m., we had multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, and the tornado threat was back into Alabama. We had a one warning Dade in Walker County very early this morning, right around 3 a.m. And since then, we've had a couple of tornado warnings in the South Metro. If you've been up with me, I've been tracking that with you and meteorologist Ebony Dion driving Storm Tracker 2 HD. Still in Atlanta. I want to point this out. The worst of the storm, the severe weather threat, is right here in this corridor, right here. And that's just east of now in DeKalb and Fulton County. So the worst of the weather is over, where we had a 71 mile an hour wind gust just 10 minutes ago. The worst of the weather is over in East Point and back to the northwestern suburbs, happening now in Gwinnett, DeKalb County, Fayette County, moving in Henry County. I want to check the radar, the airport here. Just some of these tower cams. These are live views as the storm has moved east. Weather has moved through for you. This is noon in Coweta County. Hard to pick it up at night with that particular camera, so we'll go back to Storm Tracker 2 HD. Ebony's got a storm track here along the leading edge of the storm where damaging wind gusts have occurred and will continue to occur as it moves to the east. Lithonia and Snellville now, Flippin and Collinsville in a minute, Grayson in 3, Decula in 3, Kellysville 4 minutes. Let me go through the list. It's important that I want you to hear the name of your community. Lakeview Estates, Conyers in 5 minutes, McDonough in 5 minutes. That's the leading edge of the 60 mile an hour winds or stronger. It's taking down trees, tree limbs. Unfortunately, we've had one report in Coweta County of tree on a home and a report of some possible first responders will be dealing with that potentially, and the cleanup that's going to go on through the morning and many places likely through the day. So our WSB studios in Midtown, we hear the rain, rumble of thunder, just like you're hearing at home in many areas. Still some very heavy rain in the northern and western parts of the metro, but the severe weather risk is over there. No tornadoes or severe thunderstorms will occur in the back rain shield. That's going to be confined to the leading edge, this squall line, if you will, from Gainesville, now just east of Atlanta and moving into Griffin. So that's to track towards the east. Tornado warning remains in effect, not for long. It's scheduled to expire in 9 minutes at 5 o'clock. So we'll watch that. And we're also watching to see if that rotation as the storm moves out of that tornado warning area, if that rotation holds together. It is not as well defined as it was earlier, so that's a good sign as this storm continues to rotate and track towards the east. So meteorologist Brian Monahan's joining Ebony and I now as well here in Severe Weather Center 2. So we'll bring you team coverage through the morning as this line of storms continues to race through. So there's Sonoy. There's Woolsey, Hampton, Lovejoy. The storm is headed generally in that direction, away from Sonoy. So the threat has ended there for severe weather into Plattsburgh and Moreland. And you can see Woolsey, Hampton approaching Griffin now. At the very least, damaging straight line wind. Watching for the possibility of some tornado touchdowns. From McDonough and Grove in Henry County, where you just have a few showers, heavy rain and storms headed in your direction, 60-mile-an-hour winds. So kind of reset here, getting reports now in of power outages. Pickens County, reports of a tree on a house in Douglas County. We've had numerous reports of trees down in Cherokee County, trees down in Coweta County. Coweta County so far appears, at least radar, to be one of our is hit. Tornado warning was in effect. We've got reports of trees down on buildings, trees specifically on homes in Coweta County, and one report of a possible entrapment from a tree on a home in Coweta County. Unfortunately, that threat will continue across the eastern half of our area as these move through. So Ebony, zooming in on that portion of the storm in the South Metro where the worst of the weather is occurring right now, approaching McDonough, Hampton, and Griffin. This is the history of rotation of tornado warnings. Now we've got a new tornado storm tracking to the north. Ebony, let's go up here. This is near Stockbridge. This new tornado warning, a storm heads up in Conyers. So let me go through this. Tornado warning until 5:50 for Rockdale, eastern DeKalb, eastern Morgan, northern Henry, southeastern Walton, northeastern Clayton, Jasper, and Newton counties until 5:15. So we're talking about for the next 20 minutes. These tornado warnings issued for a short period of time is they can stop very quickly, and then so that's what we're looking at here. Rotation within this thunderstorm tracking towards the east. This particular storm is moving east at 65 miles an hour. So the rotation right now near Stockbridge, about 8 miles east, and moving 60 miles an hour. So if you're in Stockbridge, you in your safe place. If you're in Kellytown or Conyers, just minutes away from you. I know Conyers, you dealt with a tornado less than a year ago, and unfortunately a tornado warning has been issued for your community. You need to seek shelter now. Kellytown, Conyers, Velta, just 4 minutes, 7 minutes, just minutes now to get to your safe space. Portersdale and Oxford, 11 minutes. Covington, you have only 12 minutes before this tornadic thunderstorm arrives for you. Spring Hill, 12 minutes. Social Circle, 19. Mansfield, 22 minutes if it holds together that long. So there's the track of the storm. Remember, the safe place for you, that is the lowest level of your house, a basement if you have one, interior room, away from windows. So if you have a basement, go there. That's your best space. Then you get to an interior, a hallway, closet, bathroom if you have one. If it's a ground floor is your lowest level. Still interior room, bathroom, closet, hallway. Those are your best choices typically. Here's a close-up look. So we're looking, there's Bowden, there's Hidden Lake, there's Richardson, and there's Flintlock. So we're looking here in the South Metro where the tornado warning has been issued for Coweta, Fayette, Heard, Meriwether, Spalding, and Troup counties. However, these counties back to the south and west, that warning will be expiring in the next 5 minutes. So it's this new tornado warning that Henry County that we're tracking here off towards the east. We're zoomed in close to that near Richardson, near Flintlock, and Hidden Lake. So let me give you a slightly wider view. The storm was detected near Stockbridge on radar, and as we look on the velocity, it is very subtle. We are seeing some indication on the radar and some notches there out ahead of it. That is of some rotation within the storm. So the storm here, approximately 5 to 6 miles east of Stockbridge now, moving towards Kellytown and Velta. So give you an updated timeline into Kellytown in 2 minutes, Velta in about 7, Spring Hill in 12, Covington in 14 minutes. So you get the idea. this is the time of arrival of that possible tornado headed in your direction. Getting reports of multiple trees down in Fayette County as this storm came through. So here's Fayette County. The worst of the storm is now pushing out of Fayette. It's triggered this new tornado warning. So we're at 4:56. Tornado warning in effect until 5:15. Here's I-20 in the east part of the metro. So we're looking in the south and southeast metro. Some possible rotation here near Stockbridge, passing north of McDonough. So in Henry County, it's the northern part of the county that's under this tornado warning. Is just north of the warned area, damaging straight line winds, yes. And then you see the tornado warning south of Fayette County. That warning will be there in about 3 minutes. That storm has moved east of that area. This is the tornado warning that's in effect until 5:15. It's all part of a much larger area, a continuous line of heavy rain and damaging winds from near Gainesville across the East Metro. In addition to this small area of red for the tornado warning, you see the larger yellow polygons, those squares that we've drawn? Those are severe thunderstorms. This one includes Walton County until 5:30. So this entire area has the potential of damaging straight line winds. We've seen winds 60, 70, radar estimated wind at 1.86 miles an hour, at a 71-mile-an-hour wind measured at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with this line of storms. Right now, the worst of it passing north of McDonough, headed towards Covington. Look at these winds. This is at the radar beam height, a little bit above the ground, but pretty indicative, these 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds experience on the ground. And unfortunately, we're getting more reports of some trees down. Ryan, Ebony, you got some reports there from...
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger. For thousands of appetizing ingredients and meals, savings like $600 in digital coupons, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Channel 2 here this morning. Just in the last 15 minutes or so, that wind picked up. The rain was swirling around. Okay. The power was flashing. Go ahead, Brad.
Brad, let me interrupt. Apparently, we accidentally went to a commercial, so reset here. What Brian was telling us, reports of trees down across central Fulton, South Fulton, and Atlanta. Trees down in those areas, Brian.
And the thing I want to mention here, got here several power flashes. People at the power.
Georgia.
That are 60+ miles per hour. I believe we are now back with you here, Brad. And by the way, this is Channel 2 Action News Sunday AM. You're watching right now on Channel 2 here, just about 5 o'clock in the morning. Brad. Actually, let's keep a close eye here. All right, go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, so let's just let's track this line, this entire line producing damaging straight line winds as it tracks towards the east at about 6.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger.
Motion of the line and the embedded thunderstorms producing damaging straight line winds. Here's the tornado warning in the southeast metro. That tornado warning until 5:15. It's 5 a.m. to Action News Sunday AM now with this tornado warning that we're tracking here. I'm in Severe Weather Center 2 alongside meteorologist Ebony Dion and Brian Monahan. Will continue to track this threat as long as it lasts. So here's the storm as produced, getting reports now of numerous trees down in Fulton County in the city of Atlanta. Of course, it's just now 5 a.m. So it's going to take a little while for these reports to come in. Don't get out there until the storm passes to assess the damage in your neighborhood. Wait until it's safe. But we've already had numerous reports of trees down in Fulton County, in Cherokee County, in Douglas County, Coweta County, a report of a possible entrapment with a tree on a home in Coweta County. So all this information coming in from emergency managers now. These are kind of early reports of that. We got I'm seeing a picture now just sent in to me from the city of Roswell of a tree through a house with significant damage in Roswell, North Fulton County. No injuries reported there, fortunately, but it is unfortunate that there's likely to be much more of this damage, this type of damage that is trees on homes, and unfortunately more to come. Tracks towards the east. We saw briefly near Stockbridge a little rotation on the radar, so that triggered this tornado warning that's in effect until 5:15. As you spin it back, you can see, look right here. It's pretty subtle within this line. A tornado rotation, as we're highlighting here, right around Stockbridge, and that triggered the tornado warning.
This is a tornado warning.
Unfortunately, more to come as it tracks toward Stockbridge, a little rotation on the radar, so that triggered this tornado warning that's in effect until 5:15. As you spin it back, you can see, look right here. It's pretty subtle within this line. A tornado rotation, as we're highlighting here, right around Stockbridge, and that triggered the tornado warning being issued. And then that portion of the storm, as we track it to the east, is right about here now. So the possible tornadoes and the virtual guarantee of damaging straight line winds with this storm. A possible tornado passing just south of Conyers now, approaching Velta in Covington. So Velta, 2 minutes from arrival for you. Horseshoe Springs in 6 minutes. Portersdale in 8. You have only 10 minutes to get to your safe place in Oxford, Covington, 19 minutes in Social Circle. Remember, if you've forgotten, you haven't thought about it lately, here's what you need to do for your safe place. Lowest level of your house, that's most important. A basement if you have one, if not the ground floor. Then you get to an interior room. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside of the building as possible. And we're highlighting that here. You can see when you get to an interior room, it gives you added layers of protection from flying debris, falling trees, and of course being the lowest level of your house minimizes the potential impact or injury. If a tree were to fall in the house and you're in the basement, that's safer than, say, if you were upstairs. Interior room and then away from windows. So often the injuries that are caused in a tornado is from the flying debris. So it can be from trees falling, but also flying debris, in a particular broken glass. Stay away from windows. Get into lowest level interior room, away from windows. Hallway, closet, windowless bathroom, those are usually your best choices. So here's the portion of the storm, possible rotation tornadoes passing, a tornado passing south of Conyers, moving towards Covington, basically along the I-20 corridor. Look at these winds, 70, 80, 85 miles an hour. We measured at Mercedes-Benz Stadium a 71 mile an hour wind gust as the storm came through. So tremendous wind with these storms. And unfortunately, we're getting reports now of dozens of trees down. And by the time this is over, unfortunately, it could be hundreds, if not thousands of trees. This storm is that intense and is covering such a large area as it comes through this morning. The forward motion is enhancing the wind speed, but does mean that this is moving through quickly, and it doesn't allow the torrential downpours to fall for as long. That minimizes the overall flood threat. Could still be some localized flooding or flash flooding, but that I expect to be isolated and fairly brief. That's the silver lining, so to speak, with this very fast motion. The other thing it means is this line is going to be out of here quickly. Before 7 a.m., the severe threat will be over for us, I expect, as this moves on through. Just an update here to the south. Remember, we were tracking a possible tornado down near Columbus, Georgia. That's out of our area. We'll keep our eyes on it. Here's Upson County, Thomaston. You're kind of in line with that Columbus storm, so we'll keep our eyes on it. And what Brian's highlighting here is kind of what looks like, if you look closely, kind of ripples with the green and the red. And this is a good example of areas where you get these little notches, little areas that can spin up, and any one of these, a very small, brief tornado. And it's different if you've seen us tracking tornadoes from a supercell thunderstorm. That's a very isolated, just one blob, so to speak, and you find one spot. But when you're talking about an entire line of storms, and when you have these linear shape for a squall line, we call it, and then that rotation gets buried in there, it's much more subtle, but these are the areas that can produce damaging winds and very quickly spin up a brief tornado. So here's Lamar County. We don't have a tornado warning. We do have severe thunderstorm warning in effect here, but from Milner to Barnesville in this area, one of those spots where we're seeing just a little bit of rotation there. So the possibility of damaging winds and tornado touchdowns. What we're highlighting there was the shear right along the leading edge. No surprise. This is producing damaging straight line winds, 60 to 70 miles an hour. That's up towards Jenkinsburg, Locust Grove. The worst is right over you now, and McDonough too. The worst is over you, soon to improve. Covington and Portersdale, the worst is arriving in the next few minutes. There's the tornado warning. We're highlighting that in red. That includes southern Walton, western parts of Morgan County, and then the northern half of Newton County. That expires at 5:15, so we're talking about 9 minutes from now. Very strong winds here around Walnut Grove and Conyers approaching Covington. This is the mode where you can see lofted debris. We're not seeing that with this. We're going back in time to look at it. The tornado warning was issued right around here near Stockbridge. We're not really seeing a lofted debris signature, which is good. Oftentimes that'll show up as a circle of blue in the sea of that hot pink in that correlation coefficient. But nonetheless, very strong, damaging straight line winds with this. Up towards Jefferson, Commerce, Athens, the worst of the weather is headed there for you. And on the backside, I want to point this out. Those of you watching in Alpharetta, Canton, all across the northern and western part of the metro, it's still pouring down rain. There's still cloud to ground lightning, but the severe weather threat has ended for you. The severe weather threat is confined here just to this squall line, the leading edge. Back towards the west, there still could be some problems from the cloud to ground lightning. That often causes fires. It's dangerous in and of itself. And then you've got the possibility of some rising water on rivers, streams, and creeks high from the flooding we had a few days ago. But the back edge of the rain is quick to arrive. This line of storms moved into northwest Georgia just 2 hours ago. So in 2 hours, we went from here to here, right? Crossing almost our entire area, just another hour, and the severe weather threat is going to be over for us in another couple of hours, and the back edge of the rain will be moving through the metro area. So things are going to be improving very rapidly as we head towards sunrise. So we've got a new tornado warning now. This is for southwestern Morgan, southeastern Henry, central Butts, northern Jasper, and southeastern Newton County until 5:45. So this is a radar indicated rotation of a thunderstorm near Locust Grove right now. That's about 8 miles west of Jackson. This storm moving northeast at 65 miles an hour. So right here in this storm, one of these areas that we were watching those little notches of rotation. This storm not moving east, but more northeast, just west of Jackson. So here it is in this area, right about there. We'll steady the map. So right over Locust Grove. There you go. So Brian's highlighting that with a telestrator. This is the portion of the storm where we have possible tornado embedded within the larger area of damaging straight line winds as this storm tracks towards the northeast. Moving at 65 miles an hour. Let's do a storm track here on that storm from Locust Grove out along the path. It intersects with this other tornado warning that's about to expire. So some of these towns out towards the end, like New Bern, will overlap. But nonetheless, it's in Locust Grove now. Jenkinsburg in 3 minutes. Head to your safe place. Lowest level, basement if you have one, interior room, away from windows. Worthsville in 10 minutes. Prospect in 19. Mansfield 23. New Bern 25. Kelly in 27. Shady Dale in just under 30 minutes with this new tornado warning. So there we are. We're coming very close. So you can see the rotation here where we've got a little bit of green and red from Steels Mill to Locust Grove. There's Jenkinsburg. You've got just a moment before this moved into Jenkinsburg. Here's LG Griffin Road. Here's Highway 42 that stretches from Locust Grove down to Jenkinsburg. There's Singley Drive. If you recognize these streets because you live on them, you live in neighborhoods nearby, or you have loved ones that live there, this is your time to go to your safe place. Or if you have friends or family who live there, call them, wake them up. They'll appreciate knowing this is a serious tornado threat south of Locust Grove, approaching Jenkinsburg now. Go to your safe place. Lowest level of your house, a basement if you have one, otherwise the ground floor, interior room away from windows. Rotation here between Locust Grove and Steele's Mill, right along the highway, moving east as it moves towards Jenkinsburg. This is moving at about 65 miles an hour. So the winds that we're tapping here with the radar, not all that impressive, but what's important to point is the direction. We got winds blowing towards and away from the radar, so that indicates the rotation here. We already know that the winds are strong, so we're just querying at this minute, highlighting that rotation as it tracks towards the north and east. Getting numerous reports of trees down in the path or just behind the path. Covington to east of McDonough, east of Griffin now, down towards Barnesville as this line moves towards the east. The red on the map, those are areas under tornado warnings. We've got 3 different areas we've been watching, and then we've got a notch here, a little bit of a bow, some damaging straight line winds here, and oftentimes we'll see kind of at the top end of the bowing segment, we can get some rotation that produces a tornado as well. So that's from Oxford to Covington to Portersdale, moving towards Rutledge and New Bern. Heads up for you, possible tornado touchdowns along the path of this severe thunderstorm. A little rotation here east of Locust Grove now. That's in northern Butts County, north of Jackson. That's tracking towards the north and east. We had another area of rotation just south of Jackson. This correlation coefficient, we look for lofted debris. We may be seeing that. Go back one there, Brian. Look west of Jackson and toggle back. There you go. Right there along I-75, perhaps a lofted debris signature. Let's correlate that with 5:05 a.m. So that was 10 minutes ago with the velocity and also with the reflectivity, just to make sure we're aligning everything there. So it's out ahead of it.
Yeah, it's out ahead of it, Brad.
That's not a lofted debris. So one of the things we need, just so you understand, we see a signature that looks like it could be lofted debris. If it's an area of high return values, it's reliable. If you're out ahead of the rain, the signal to noise ratio is way off, and so that data is unreliable and also just kind of in the wrong spot geographically. So that's why we got to go through this. You're just kind of walking you through it as we go through it ourselves here live. Meteorologist Brian Monahan and meteorologist Ebony Dion here with me this morning as we're tracking these storms. So we've got several areas of rotation we're highlighting here in a much larger swath of damaging straight line winds to 60 miles an hour. Getting some reports now of some trees down Highway 16 at Pines Drive. Brian, let's go back to that. Do we have the house here? So I just want to take folks that we've got several areas under tornado warnings that we've been describing and tracking and giving you the time of arrival. I want to give you this model of a home and talk about where you need to be. This is so critical. I know it's just after 5 o'clock in the morning. You're just waking up. It's inconvenient. You got to pull yourself out of bed, get your kids, get to your safe place. Here's where you need to go. Lowest level of your house, a basement if you have one, otherwise the ground floor. And you don't want to be in an exterior room. You want to be in an interior room that puts more walls between you and the outside of the house. That's number one. Number one's downstairs. Number two, interior room. And then you want to be away from windows. So an interior hallway or a windowless, that often is your best choice. That's often your safe space as we look through these
Brad, I want to point out
this.
this.
Yeah, hold on, Brian.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, as we go through the next few minutes, we're going to highlight these areas where we have some possible tornado signature. And it looks like a little lofted debris there just west of I-75, right, Brian?
Yeah, and I'm going to put on our velocity mode here while you were showing the diagram of where to be. Your safe place in a tornado warning. I was going through Storm Tracker 2 HD and kind of correlating where we're seeing that lofted debris signature, that dropout in our correlation coefficient. Basically, the radar detecting there's something other than rain up in this thunderstorm. And you can see where I have circled just west of I-75. This is headed into just out of Lamar County. You can see the red and green right next to each other, Brad. I'm going to flip over to correlation coefficient. You're going to see that dropout right where we had the rotation, right along 75, moving out of Lamar County. And this is the same storm, Brad, that's going to move up into Jasper County, where there is a tornado warning. This will pass a little bit to the south of Monticello. That's where you need to be in your safe place right now.
Yeah, so in Monroe County, this is technically out of the Channel 2 viewing area, but I know we have some folks here watching, so we're going to take you through that. So there's the lofted debris west of I-75 pushing towards the east. Butts County is under a tornado warning. There's a lot of lightning there near Jackson, but the worst of the storm is now starting to push east of Jackson in Butts County, Flovilla, off towards Monticello, moving into Jasper County here over the next few minutes. This is the portion of the storm that we can say we have a confirmation of touchdown based on the lofted debris signature, moving quickly towards the east-northeast, moving towards Berner and Gladesville. So Berner at about 8 minutes, Gladesville in 11 minutes for you. Lowest level of your house, interior room, away from windows. Tornadoes have indicated on radar touching down here and headed in that direction. Up around Flovilla and Jackson, damaging straight line winds, possible a tornadic rotation. The storm that developed with a possible tornado near Locust Grove has moved towards the north and east, but we're seeing that rotation now. It looks like it would be northern parts of Butts County as well. And all these little notches within this line have the potential of spinning up. Here's a look at some rotation there in extreme northern Butts County, tracking towards the north and east. That tornado warning remains in effect and includes Newborn and Madison. So we'll do a storm track here along the leading edge. These are moving so quickly, 60 to 65 miles an hour in many cases, that it moves into Worthville now, Prospect at 8 minutes, Newbern in 15, Kelly 17 minutes from you, Pennington in 21, Godfrey in 24 minutes as it continues to track off towards the east. Just getting word also that the tornado watch has been extended to the east and canceled for parts of the metro area. So we'll get that watch on here just to give you a highlight. So that watch is going to drop off back to the west. We'll be updating that map here in a minute. But nonetheless, not a surprise. The storms are moving out of the tornado watch area as it was originally issued, and the tornado threat is now moving into the East County. So that tornado threat continues there off towards the east and northeast. Let's go up here into northeast Georgia, Brian, just to see what's some of these storms here. We do have no tornado warning. Looks like this may be just east of our area, though, right? So here we are.
East, yes.
Yeah, there's Hall, there's Banks. So Stevens County near Toccoa. This is out of the Channel 2 viewing area. Just a heads up, we've got this tornado warning for this part of the storm there in Stevens County, just about to cross the river and into South Carolina. So that's moving away right along I-85. Not a great concern for us because it's moving out of our area, but if you've got friends or family near Clemson, South Carolina, this is not Sandy Springs in the North Metro. That's Sandy Springs, South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina. If you got friends or family there, you might want to call and give them a heads up, but that's out of our area and moving away. Good news there. This line of severe storms moving into Athens now, east of Jefferson and Commerce. This is producing damaging straight line winds. We've got little notches here. You can see it in the reflectivity. We've been tracking it in the velocity, and that's where we've had some brief tornadoes spin up. And that threat continues now east of Covington, across northern Butts County. One of the things we see when a tornado spins up oftentimes is a cluster of cloud-to-ground lightning as the updraft in the thunderstorm strengthens, strong winds being pulled up in this developing thunderstorm. And that's what you're seeing here near Lakeside Grove, Alcovy Shores, just now moving out of Butts County. This rotation in the thunderstorm, you see the green and red near Alcovy Shores, Saddle Acres. There's Prospect to the east. This is the area where we have some rotation. We're getting that flare-up of cloud-to-ground lightning that we often see with these storms. And Brian, we're getting some reports in from Butts County. Some damage there, is that right?
Yeah, getting several reports now of trees down, power lines down. By the way, I'm waiting for that tornado watch to be updated, but essentially, the eastern part of our viewing area, you've been added to the tornado watch, and just about every county on the eastern side of this line now is at least under a severe thunderstorm warning at this point. But passing along some of those damage reports, high wind reports now in Jackson County and along Highway 36 at the Butts County line, multiple trees down on Highway 36 and has completely shut down the highway there. That's the impact of those wind gusts above 60 miles per hour. Brad, you know it. You've been talking about it with Ebony. The ground is so wet. It doesn't take a whole lot of wind to bring a lot of trees down and power outages. And with 60-mile-per-hour wind in and of itself can really cause a lot of damage. That's unfortunately what we're seeing this morning.
Yeah, and in Butts County around Jackson, of course, we had that tornado, a signature on radar. So we've got as Brian said, multiple trees down on Highway 36 has completely shut down the road. So that could be from either the tornadic winds or these damaging straight line winds that in some cases, the strong straight line winds are nearly as strong as a weak tornado. At Hartsfield Jackson, we measured a 71 mile an hour wind gust, excuse me, not Hartsfield Jackson. That was at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown. So highlighting here is the area of rotation just west of Alcovy Shores, starting to move to the east now. And
Brad, we have a drop now, actually over 2 scans. I've watched it now over Alcovy Shores. Let me go back 1 scan. See that Long Acre? See that little drop there?
You go.
And correlation coefficient right near where we're seeing the rotation. So this does appear to be that lofted debris signature. That's about 2,400, 2,500 feet above the ground, and that's moving into north parts of Jasper County right now.
So that's pretty low, 2,000, 2,400 feet above the ground.
And you see the purple, we now have confirmed tornado warning here.
Yes, okay, so confirmed tornado. The purple he's talking about is this flashing polygon. When tornado warnings are issued at first, they'll often be issued radar indicated in red. But we're highlighting this now as a purple confirmed. It's a radar confirmed tornado, meaning we've seen the radar signature and we've been able to confirm lofted debris. So here's what's happening in this situation. A tornado touches materials if it moves over or a home. It can oftentimes just be leaves or twigs, branches, dirt and dust that all gets pulled up into the tornado and up into the atmosphere, in this case, a couple of thousand feet. So that's what we're seeing here. That tells us that not only are we looking at rotation within a thunderstorm where a tornado could develop, but that a tornado has been on the ground within the last few minutes. It takes a few minutes for the tornado to pick up something and pull it and blow it up into the air thousands of feet. So that tells us a tornado has been on the ground within the last few minutes. So that's the reason this is now a confirmed tornado moving into Prospect in about 4 minutes. If you're in Prospect, Kelly, you got a little more time, but just 13 minutes. You need to go to your safe place now. A confirmed tornado headed towards Prospect in 4 minutes. Safe place, lowest level of your house, a basement if you have one, otherwise ground floor, interior room, away from windows. So we go back to the lofted debris signature. What I want to show you here is you see all of this kind of pink and purple way up here at the top end of the scale. That's when the radar is seeing all of the same thing, meaning in this case, all rain. But when you start to see lower correlation, that means the radar is seeing different things. That is rain, and in this case, lofted debris. It could be building materials, it could be leaves and branches and twigs, and that's what we're seeing here. It's a fairly subtle view, but it's distinct enough to know. Right here, this is the Butts County line near Lakeside Grove, just west of Alcovy Shores, and now we jump it ahead to 524. This is a lofted debris signature right across Alcovy Shores. So this is a confirmed tornado that we're picking up on Storm Tracker 2 HD, crossing Alcovy Shores. There's the rotation, the lofted debris signature, the flare-up of cloud-to-ground lightning with the developing updraft of this tornadic thunderstorm. So a confirmed tornado moving across Alcovy Shores and continuing towards the east. And want to make sure you're clear that this is a confirmed tornado. You need to get to your safe place. You've maybe been under a tornado warning in the past and it missed you and you think, maybe I'll be okay. If you're in Prospect, Rocky Creek, Palo Alto, you need to get out of bed. I know it's early in the morning. Wake up your husband, wake up your wife, wake up your kids, get them to the safe place. We have a confirmed tornado that's moved over Alcovy Shores and
a
now
new one,
tracking
Brad,
towards the east, and a new tornado warning issued for this same storm. Let me take you through that. This storm now, just out towards the east, is moving a little more eastward. So this tornado warning includes southeastern Morgan, northern Putnam, south central Greene, and northern Jasper County. This tornadic thunderstorm over Eudora, that's 7 miles northwest of Monticello, moving east at 60 miles an hour. This is a radar-confirmed tornado. Same story as we've got the lofted debris signature with this a tornadic thunderstorm as it tracks towards the east. So we've got one near Newborn and another west of Shady Dale in this area, all tracking both towards the northeast and to the east with this storm. Radar confirmed tornadoes, meaning we have detected on radar the signature of a tornadic rotation and a debris signature that correlates in those same locations. And look here south of Monticello. Does that correlate with the...
I'm taking a look at it, Brad. It just caught my attention. Let's see. We got...
it looks like it may be... Let me put my finger on it and switch to the reflectivity. I think
no, it's not.
So that is not. So what we're looking at here is if you've got that signature, but it's not embedded in the rain, it's low signal to noise, you can ignore it. So it's very subtle. We have to make sure we get it all aligned just exactly right so we can tell you what is a confirmed tornado and what is not. And we've got 2 confirmed tornadoes. These are subtle because they're embedded within a line of severe storms, but this rotation near Newborn and the one just west here of Shady Dale as it continues to track towards the east. These 2 tornado warnings are in effect now for confirmed, radar-confirmed tornadoes. And just highlighting this entire area where there's also damaging winds and
that's what I'm going to do here, Brad. Yeah.
Some additional tornado touchdowns. So Kelly in 3 minutes, Shady Dale in 5, Pennington in 7. If you live in these communities, if you're very nearby, now is the time to drag yourself out of bed, go to your safe place. Basement or ground floor if you don't have a basement, interior room, hallway, closet, windowless bathroom. Stay away from windows. Lofted debris has been detected by radar, and the blowing debris in a tornado is often what causes injury. So you want to make sure you put more walls between you and the outside of the building. That's why you get to an interior room, and that's why you want to stay away from glass. Broken glass, of course, so sharp. And then once you go outside after a storm has come through, it's caused some damage, make sure you've got shoes on because there'll be scattered debris potentially and broken glass outside. Here's a look at the rotation here around Newbern. You see the winds, or the green and the red indicating the winds circulating there, moving towards Broughton and Reese over the next few minutes as this continues its track towards the north and east. Brian, one thing we haven't done in a minute is given a wider perspective for the rest of the metro. I do want to do that just to show you that the line of severe storms has moved now completely east of Metro Atlanta. Rain continuing in the metro. The severe weather and tornado threat is over for Metro Atlanta. The rain already ending in west and northwest Georgia.